Hi. So this is my amateur way of making sure the book titles show up the right way. Um, so I've gotten Invisalign done since February, and I've actually helped two other people look into braces and Invisalign. I had a tooth that was kind of crooked. It stuck out in general, and my teeth in general were very crooked, and it's kind of insecure and smiling, as well as going to social events or networking events, right? Because, like, people judge you for, if you meet someone for the first time, I think your teeth are, like something that people look at, right? So, been going to the dentist for years, have had my cavities and stuff, but I'm lucky that I can go to the dentist for years, right? So anyhow, so I'm really glad regarding the Invisalign, and I thought I'd talk about some books. Okay, so the first one I got is called Toxic Positivity, and it's by Whitney Goodman, right? So the thing that I like about this book is it makes like negative emotions like sadness or anger or just feeling low in general normal, right? I've read maybe halfway or 3/4 of this book, but like I've been using the books that I've been reading for the last, I think since January, as journals more, because you read something, you agree with it, or just to reframe it into your head, you read books, right? So this one's really great because you see a lot of stuff like be happy, be chipper, be positive and stuff, and that's just not life, right? So I think it's good to have like a realistic version of life. Like, you don't always have to be positive and stuff. Like, it's great to be positive, and like it's amazing, to have that, positivity in life, but it's not normal, right? So this book made me feel a lot better regarding some of the so-called negative emotions that I had regarding sadness or anger or just feeling down and low, right? So yeah, I have to finish this book in general, but so far, yeah, it just makes you feel so much better. Okay. This is called The Sociopath Next Door, by Martha Stout, PH.D. I was reading this book when I was extremely paranoid in general, so it makes you feel a lot better, just regarding if you're like scared of yourself, pretty much. So it's a really great book in just like calming yourself down and just feeling better and stuff. I don't remember too much of the context of this book. I just remember after I read it, I was like calm, like I felt better about myself, and I just felt better about myself. Yeah. This is Dave Ramsey. It's called the Total Money Makeover. Total Money Makeover. A proven plan for financial fitness. It's a really simple way of looking at your finances, which worked for me, right? So really simple way of looking at your finances that has helped me a great deal. No notes in this one because I was reading it in a different year where I could just read through the book, and it just makes you feel so much better, right? So it's a really great book, helped me a great deal, and I would reread this book. Really great book. Badass Habits, Cultivating the Confidence, Boundaries, and Know-How to Upgrade Your Life by Jen Sincero. Sorry, I'm not great at pronouncing people's names. So this is like a whole series of these books, right? They're on different topics and stuff. I read this book a while ago, so I don't remember too much, but I remember it made me feel better, right? So how to cultivate boundaries and stuff, I don't really remember in general because it was just in a place of life where I needed to understand that, right? Like in a different place in life. I have it on Instagram when I read it, but yeah, you write notes in the margins and stuff in general, and it just makes you feel a lot better. So really great book, awesome book. This is one that I'm currently reading that was recommended on Facebook and by someone I knew. It's called The Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind, and the Body in the Healing of Trauma by Bessel Van Der Kolk, MD. So I'm reading this book currently to understand what's going on with my body in general. It talks about veterans at first, and it's a bit complicated, right? So you have to read it on really specific days, especially when I'm in that frame of mind, honestly. So when you're kind of down and depressed, and you really got to understand like what's going on with myself in general, it's great. You know, it shows you brain scans and stuff. You know, like it's a tough read for myself in general, but it's answering a lot of questions that I got from Facebook groups in general. So look forward to reading this book. Only have read 30 pages, talks about veterans so far, so I'm having some trouble relating, but it talks about certain medications that I'm on that are extremely normal. Like a lot of people are on these medications, and I've always been kind of like shunned for being on these medications, but after reading this book, I realized that a ton of people are on these medications. So it makes me feel better about the medications that I'm on. So I look forward to continuing to read this book, and it's something I'm probably going to keep in the long run. Okay, so this is recommended by a friend who's in holistic healing. It's called How to Do the Work, Recognizing Your Patterns, Heal from Your Past, Create Yourself by Dr. Nicole LePera. So she's a holistic psychologist, I think. She has an Instagram account that helps a lot of women in general. So I noticed trauma is a really big thing, especially after COVID and such, and you know, the fourth wave. I don't know. I don't really watch the news. I probably should, but really great book on trauma, how, you know, people manage stuff. And again, I don't remember too much of the details of this book other than it made me feel calm and good about myself. And this is a book that I'm probably going to keep in the long run. What I do with some of my books is I write notes in the margins and stuff, and I put the year down, or I put the month and the year down. So when I reread the book and I'm in a different frame of mind, or I'm in a different place in life, I pick up different information, right, based on that year. So this is a book that I would keep just because, yeah, you know, like, so some stuff is ongoing, some stuff comes back in general, but I think a lot of women can relate to this book. This is a book I got like a couple of years ago. It's called Surviving Schizophrenia, a Family Manual by E.Fuller Torrey. Sorry, I'm going to butcher this, MD. So a couple of years ago, I didn't know what was going on with me. I had a new diagnosis, no clue. Looked at a couple of YouTube accounts in general. I feel like my diagnoses have changed throughout the years as well, right? Because like, this is a great start for me. Like I read this and I'm like, okay, I get it, I understand. A couple of years ago, but it made me feel better, and it's something that I keep because it just normalized things for me, and it, you know, made me feel better. Great book. This is a book called A Guide to Self-Love, Healing, and Creating the Life You Truly Deserve, Black Girl in Love with Yourself by Trey Anthony. I went to one of her shows, and I went with a couple of people I knew, in general, and she's like an amazing person. Like she's someone that you want to be in life, right? Really super positive, really strong in general, which is why I had trouble reading this book, because I read through half of it and it's so positive in general. Like I can only read it during certain months, right? Or during certain weeks. I'm going to go with months. Because it's so positive in general, and I'm not in that frame of mind right now. But it's a very strong book. Like this woman is incredibly strong and successful, but it's not so much about the success as it is about the type of person she is. She's the type of person that you want to be like. So I have 2 copies of this in general, but this is going to take me a while to read because it's a really positive influence, and I'm not in that frame of mind right now, but she's like a credible person. Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes and Remarkable Results, Easy and Proven Way to Build Good Habits and Break Bad Ones by James Clear. This book and Toxic Positivity had a lot of swearing in it in general because it was information that I didn't know. So a lot of swearing. This was recommended a couple of months ago, and I've seen it in the past as a really great book. But with this book, I think I'm down to maybe the last 10-15 pages. And again, my memory is not that great, so I actually marked down certain pages, and there's got to be at least 30 of them, which are really helpful for me to look back with notes in general. So it's a really good book in general. It's something that I keep in general just to get back into that frame of mind that I have control over certain things and that I can control my habits. So really great book. This is called 13 Things Strong Kids Do, Think Big, Feel Good, Act Brave by Amy Morin. This was a book that I realize is more geared towards me, like it's something that I need. So it talks a lot about cognitive behavioral therapy, but in a new way, right? So I've read books like Mind Over Mood from like the 2000s and stuff, and I'm really amazed that they have books like this for kids, right? It's an amazing book. It actually made me feel better about some of the negative emotions that I was having, because it puts them in a way that a child won't feel bad about themselves, right? But I felt better about myself, honestly, right? And it takes mental health concerns when they're at the seed in general. So a kid can understand when, you're being positive, but you're having unrealistic expectations or thoughts in general, how that could probably lead to something, right? That I find is important, right? So it's more for me in general. Like I have to read this, and it gives you things to fill out in general. I've so far read a portion of this book. Again, it's very technical, and I read it during certain places, but it's a really great book, and it's one of the few books that I'm reading. But it's technical. It gives you real life examples. It gives you real life situations, and it's a great book. The last book I have is called The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss. I get this guy's newsletter. This is kind of far beyond me, right? Like I'm not in this place in life right now. It's a lot about passive income and stuff. So it's kind of complicated for my generation, but for maybe another generation, it's really easy to read and they can explain it to me. But what I got from this book just by flipping through it is to minimize your life, right? So to minimize any excess that you don't need, donate it, get rid of it, or whatever, but keep to the bare minimal, right? So a lot about passive income and looking at the web in general, right? Again, not for like just for I don't want to say my generation, because I'm pretty much sure there's plenty of people that would be able to understand this, but for me, I need someone to explain this to me. Anyhow, yeah, it's a reality. So these are the books that I'm currently reading or have read or have reread or I'm keeping in general, that I found really great. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for your time. Okay.